Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden, and this amazingly genius-looking guy right next to me, this is Tim, and this is Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. Today, my brothers and sisters, and Tim, of course, we are talking about Missouri Democrats promising chaos in light of not getting what they want out of the whole Kansas City shooting thing. We've got a G3, which is going to make you smile from ear to ear, because it turns out Davey kind of broke the law, and then we have NBC going after, or at least alluding to, going after YouTubers. This episode is going to be one you guys are going to love. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And with that, Tim, oh my God, we are about to have so much fun. How about some chaos to start off your morning for breakfast? How's that sound?
I love a little chaos.
I mean, who doesn't? Chaos and napalm in the morning.
Yep. And razor wire. So
that's another T-shirt. Chaos, napalm, and razor wire. Well, that's for a different thing for a different time. Let me show you what they're up to, Tim. These Democrats, they're losing their mind on this Kansas City thing. They don't know whether to call something racist, whether to call for gun control, whether to call for chaos, or whether to ban all guns. They don't know. Look, they are in the wind.
I have to set the record straight. You just said, I think they may have lost their minds. Dude, you can't lose what you've never had. Okay, go ahead.
That might be true. It's a nuance, but that's what we have you here, Tim, for is the nuances.
You're being far too kind to these people. Go ahead.
I try to be kind. Well, except for the ones in Missouri, because this is beyond the pale. I've said that a lot recently. Missouri Democrats call on voters to help them tighten state gun regulations. Well, of course they do, because, there's a tragedy, and why wouldn't you use that to stand on for more of your platform? But other than that, this is coming out of Jefferson City. Democrats in the Missouri House renewed their calls for tougher gun laws Monday in the wake of a deadly shooting at the Kansas City Super Bowl celebration. Now, that's pretty standard fare, you would say, right? Every time there's a tragedy or a shooting or...
Yep, this is the headline every single time. Something happens, Democrats call for a ban. Something happens, Democrats call for a ban. Something happens.
Yeah. But there was a nuanced difference here, because they said something out loud I don't think they're supposed to say, Tim.
Uh-oh.
I don't think they're supposed to come out and openly say this. This is number 3. But with Republicans holding a supermajority in both the House and the Senate, the demands made an announcement on the steps of the Capitol are aimed more at voters in November than on their GOP colleagues in the building. Can we? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Gosh.
Can we say that?
Yeah, they're playing politics? No, wouldn't. Yeah. Nah.
What? They wouldn't. They wouldn't be playing politics across the board with something this terrible. For November, maybe for like Thanksgiving. Do you think that's what they're referencing? Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe it's Thanksgiving, not more votes for your own political power. These people are gross, Tim.
Oh, well, yeah, we've established that many times over. They are gross. I can smell that post all the way over here.
Well, then we've got some more coming your way real quick. Hey, this is number 4. I'm just setting this up quickly so we can break this down. As a super minority party, this is a quote, "There isn't a lot we can do when it comes to policy. We can get loud and draw attention to this. Absolutely, voters need to hold these folks accountable," said House Minority Leader Crystal Quaid, Democrat Springfield, who is running for governor.
Losing for governor. Yeah. I wouldn't call what you're doing running.
Well, let's just call it what it is, Crystal. And Crystal needs some attention, clearly, because this part right here is what blew my mind. Number 5, quote, "We all know how this is going to play out. Over the next few weeks, we're going to cause as much chaos as we can to draw attention to this."
Chaos. Well, but you know what? There's no such. And where is it written, Braden, that protests are supposed to be peaceful? This has caused some chaos.
Ooh. I'm trying to remember that guy's name. Oh,
it was a CNN host, right? Was it?
It was CNN. It was one of the brothers. Cuomo.
It was Cuomo. Yes, it was Cuomo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but who said it's supposed to be peaceful?
Chaos. But that's how Marxists roll, man. A little chaos, a little bit of a few heads get smashed in, a few buildings burned, a few cars turned upside down, a couple murders in a garage somewhere. It's just protesting. It's protected speech.
Listen, those were bonfires, and you know it. And on top of that, you know that there are deep ingrained societal issues which have kept poverty on everybody, and that's why they burn things, and that's why they destroy police cars. It's not their fault. It's ingrained political issues that just can't be fixed.
Yes, the rioters are the victims. We have to make that clear.
Yes. Exactly. So I'm glad that we have spent time on that to really set you straight. But here's the thing. And this is number 6. This is what they're going after. And then we get to really have some fun with this and go back and forth. Democrats are planning to introduce a resolution this week in support of a change in law that gives local units of government more power to make their own public safety laws. Now, that's preemption, right? Because they don't have that in Missouri. Democrats really want preemption out of the way. They want to make their own gun control laws at their own city level, because they don't have state, right? They want a smaller sandbox in which they can completely control is effectively what they want.
Well, they just want to make a mess for gun owners, once again, to discourage gun ownership. So what happens in states that don't have preemption laws? What's a preemption law? It means what the local jurisdictions cannot pass anything more restrictive than what the state has passed, right? We have that here in Indiana.
Right.
So if the state says you can carry a firearm without a permit in the state of Indiana, and the city of Valparaiso, where Copper Custom is, passes an ordinance saying you cannot carry a firearm in the city of Valparaiso, the state's preemption law would say, no, you can't do that, Valpo, carry your guns.
Right.
So what happens in states that don't have that, and I used to live in a state like that, and I think they've changed it, but I grew up in Kansas, and every single jurisdiction, every county, every city had a different gun law. So where I lived, it was legal to have a gun, for example, in your car, right? A car was considered an extension of your home. But you just travel one city over to Topeka, the capital, and then they had a ban on guns in cars. Right. So, and we didn't have concealed carry. So, so what it does is it creates this mess of ordinances and laws from county to city that gun owners can't possibly keep up with. And so it's to discourage them because they don't want to wind up afoul of the law and losing their rights. They simply choose not to carry because they don't know what the local ordinance might be.
Correct.
Junk.
That is exactly what it is in a nutshell. Yeah. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done. And by the way, for the record, for the people at home, that was off the top of his head. I didn't tell him this was coming. That was impressive. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. There's this you Elvis over there?
Elvis has left the building. Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much. The thing that I really would like to draw attention to here is we've laid out, and this is the important piece of what we tried to do. We've laid out the entire, from beginning to end, A to Z of this focus point and story. So now let's go backwards. Let me show you, we've shown you what they want. They want the preemption law removed. Okay. So that's going to be the focal point. Now, to do that, how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to cause as much chaos as possible around a shooting that just occurred in order to get something for themselves. Now, how are they going to get something for themselves? By rallying attention and chaos on that shooting? Well, they're going to cause chaos, and then they are going to hope you vote in November.
Yeah.
Well, then after that, after all, it's just common sense safety. And notice how, Tim, they have floated so far from it's a mass shooting to now it's criminal behavior to now it's gang violence to now it's ban all guns. All police are the problem. Well, now we should have common sense gun reform. Now we're upset and we're going to be loud about it. Now we're going to cause chaos because we want our gun control. The point from here to here is one hell of a road.
Yep. And the choice of words is really interesting, right? We're going to choose chaos. So usually they'll say, we'll protest and we'll do these things. We need to call attention to this, but they just outright said, we're just going to go out there and cause chaos.
Correct.
Well, what does chaos look like? Chaos means cementing your hands to the asphalt to block traffic and roadways like you see going all around the world. Chaos is going into museums and throwing paint on valuable pieces of artwork. That's chaos, folks. What they're saying here is telling their followers to go out and create chaos. And if you take a look online and find out what leftist chaos looks like, it's not pretty. It usually includes violence, property damage, and all sorts of other things. And so they're literally out there calling for chaos. Now, if this were President Trump or any other Republican or anybody saying going out there calling for chaos, the mainstream media would not let it go. The man jokes and says he wants to be a dictator for a day, and they turn that into, he just wants to be a dictator. Look what he said. He cracks a joke. It's clearly a joke.
Right.
So if he were to go out there and say, I want you to go out and protest this election and cause chaos, you'd get impeached. Would you not?
You'd get smoked.
So,
and in fact, I bet you if he had said that, he would have caught some charges for actually inciting insurrection. If he had actually said that.
I mean, what happens when you tell people to go create chaos and they go create chaos? Is that not against a law somewhere?
Right. No. I can see, and this is the beautiful thing about what we do. This is the fun part about it. What was the city? I cannot remember off the top of my head. See if you can help me. the city that was saying that it's the city of brotherly, or it's the summer of brotherly love, when it was Chaz, right? Wasn't that Washington
the Chaz
State?
Chop, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Seattle.
Yep. Chaz or Chop or whatever, that little non-autonomous zone or autonomous zone, whatever they called it. This is what they're encouraging. Kamala Harris came out and raised funds for the rioters and the protesters in the Midwest when they were burning everything down
to get them out of jail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were stars and high-level celebrities raising money for these types of activities. I think Seth Rogen was another one.
Bailing out violent criminals. Yeah, because that's what
right,
they do.
But we're getting to a point now where they are openly utilizing chaos and saying that they desire chaos in order to achieve their goals. And that kind of speaks to something that I'm picking up, and I've hit a few times on my channel.
Communism. That's how it works, dude. Seriously. Any type of fascist dictatorship or communist dictatorship starts with causing chaos. It's in the book.
It's in the book. There's a book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. I don't want to get off on another rant like that one. We already did that. But yeah.
No, that was
But it's what they do, folks. But another thing before you go, I'm sorry. I'm going to lose this train of thought.
No, you go, baby.
What is a super minority? You can say I'm a minority to try to get somebody's attention, but what's a super minority? If you have 51 versus 49, is that just a minority? Is it then 52 and 48 is a super minority? Where's that line for super minority?
That's funny. I didn't. Now that you say that, that is really funny. I just kind of glossed over it because I was so busy focusing on how much I don't like these people for what they do.
But it's the words they choose.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It's very interesting. As a super minority, does that mean you're a minority with a cape?
Right. We're a super minority, and we want chaos. It's just like, what are you people saying? Pity me. I'm a super minority that wants chaos. Okay, sorry.
Pity me.
Pity me.
No, that's good. That was a very good point. I like that. But the thing that I was about to say was they're losing shock value. They're losing the return on the investment of shock value.
Yeah.
Because prior they wouldn't have to do anything so extreme to get attention, but now because it's their standard operating procedure, they have to go even more extreme, and you're going down a road of chasing attention and chasing response by getting more and more extreme. They're so far down this road at this point from everything we've seen only in Kansas, not even the last 2 or 3 years. I honestly think that they are going to lose the part of the electorate that's right in the middle that does not like chaos. I think that they're on the beginning roads of losing complete control of their messaging.
Yeah. I would say there's not many Americans that actually have jobs and families and are productive members of society that are out there calling for chaos. You're right. Probably looking at the college age types with purple hair that just want chaos because they think it's cool and fun, kind of like the punk rock movement back when I was a younger guy, right? You just thought it would be fun to dress as crazy as you could and get in fights in parking lots because that was cool then. I mean, maybe that's what they're doing here. I don't know. But
maybe.
Chaos is definitely one of those political tools used by the extreme left and always has been.
Yep.
It's how they get what they want.
That's the nutshell.
They call it revolution.
Yep. That's exactly why we covered that, is because that's exactly what's happening. You nailed that. They are jumping as far to the extreme as much as possible to get as much shock value as possible for their end goals. And that is further less freedom. So you know what? Something else they have to do, Tim. This kind of dovetails into segment 2. They also have to silence dissenting opinions, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's the other part of the equation when you're dealing with, tyrannical regimes like the leftists want. Yeah, you have to silence the opposition. You have to imprison the opposition. You have to do everything you can to demonize them and get them out of the picture. And then you do everything you can to get your one-party state so that you can rig everything so that you always win elections. To the point where you have elections like they have in North Korea or in Russia, where magically the only candidate running gets 100% of the vote.
It really is incredible. Did we send a wreath to Kim Jong-un for his victory?
I know. What a resounding victory he got again.
Man,
not a single dissenting
100%. Yeah. This guy is incredible. He smokes. And did you see them clapping? Man,
yeah,
he is loved. It is obvious.
Yep.
Is obvious.
You can't get that kind of love without tying people to, anti-aircraft guns and firing it in public squares, Yeah. It's not like that's where the
you
loyalty
can't
comes
do that.
from. No. This is truly
No, it's
admiration and
love.
love for a dear leader. Yeah.
Listen, you saw the vote counts. You did. So say what you want. Anyway, let's talk about what's happening here in the United States. You know how the media does this thing, Tim, where they float a trial balloon and they have their little handlers behind them, but they use the NBC label to say, like, just asking questions. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, NBC is the most recent patsy for every town for gun safety targeting the gun world on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a, quote, cesspool, Tim.
Yes.
Cesspool. They said it. Well, here's number 7. A popular gun influencer conspired to illegally import machine guns. He still has a home on YouTube. Gun influencer Larry Vicker faces possible prison time after he pleaded guilty to a conspiracy to import machine guns. Online, his star hasn't fallen. Oh, they do not like his star, Tim.
Yeah. You know, I forget his name, but there's a guy I see pop up in my shorts all the time. Boy, that came out wrong. Anyway.
No, I love it. We're keeping that in there.
My video shorts. Yeah. Anyway, so that's got to be hard to recover from. Anyway, so this guy is a convicted felon.
Just think of Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, right. This guy's a convicted felon. He makes great videos, and he talks about what's like in prison, right? And he's on YouTube. He's a convicted felon. Are they saying Are they saying that felons should not have access to YouTube? Are we just going to kick everybody off that's ever been convicted of a crime? I don't understand. It's just gun people. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, but you bring up a very interesting point. Genuinely, is NBC saying now that because of a conviction or a basically admission of guilt?
Yeah, I think he pled guilty.
He did.
Yeah.
Then you're not allowed to have First Amendment anymore either, huh? Okay, well, let's dive in. Let me show you. I'm sure there's something else here, Tim. This is number 8. Larry Vickers, a popular creator of YouTube gun videos, may get a prison sentence after he pleaded guilty in October to 2 federal crimes, including a conspiracy to import illegal machine guns. But here comes the part. This is a little bit of Trumpy vibes here. But his admissions of guilt have done relatively little to dent his profile on YouTube, Facebook, or any of the other internet platforms that helped make Vickers famous within the online gun community. He's still posting updates to his fan base of 415,000 followers on Facebook while he awaits sentencing, and the hundreds of videos featuring him using various machine guns are still available on YouTube. So you can see the angle we're going, right?
Yeah.
He's been convicted of guns, of crimes. How can he still be on YouTube with guns?
Right. And the videos they're talking about, literally no laws are being broken in the videos. He's just doing what any, content creator would do, creating content. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the interesting part here?
What?
They go after the idea that he's making illicit gun videos on the internet. And Tim, just as well as I do, and maybe we can bring the people in for a second on the YouTube.
Yeah.
You do not mess these rules up. Like, if you violate the rules around firearms, on what they've got written, clad in the user agreements, you ain't gonna have a channel, boo.
Nope.
I mean,
You're gone.
You'll be gone before you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. And here's another thing. It's like, since all this came down, yes, I've seen Larry post on Facebook and other places, but you know what he's not posting? Pictures or videos of him with firearms in his hands. Because if he is if he's admitted to a felony, I don't know if he's being convicted. If he admitted to a felony, if he's being if the felony is going to stick and take his gun rights away, I don't know any of that. Haven't dove into the case that far, but let's just assume that he is now a prohibited person. I've not seen Larry do anything except talk about his books and talk about old things that he used to. Like, he used to be a 1911 manufacturer. People clamor for his old 1911s. I've seen him talk about that. But what I've not seen him do is post any new videos or posts where he's actually holding a firearm. But yet they're making mountains out of molehills here, writing an article about he still has a presence. We're worried about the videos he made 10 years ago. We gotta delete him. He must be erased.
Tim, you just made a mistake, and I'm going to call you on a prepare to be called.
Okay.
All right, Tim. So you are assuming that the entire evidence that they're putting forward right here in this article is to focus on Larry Vickers.
Oh, they want us all gone.
Yes.
Oh.
You have to look at the broader message. Here's number 10 and the payoff right here. This is how you know, guys, if you're researching these, this is how you know something's about to change on you. As of a few days ago, YouTube was still running pre-roll advertisements on his videos, according to reviews by NBC News. On Friday, after questions from NBC News, YouTube said in a statement that it has suspended Vickers' YouTube channel from its paid partner program, meaning they could no longer make money on the platform. YouTube cited a policy requiring paid creators to remain responsible online and offline and avoid behavior that harms others. To YouTube's credit, they even said it was rare, but that's where they're going on this, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for media and you want to see where the left is going to go, they're always going to put a case in front of you. Then they're going to say, and since that case existed, YouTube is still making money from it. Right there is the transition point, because now what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to trigger another adpocalypse to hurt YouTube creators across the board.
This isn't the first time the media has done this, by the way, folks. Several years ago, we got notification from some folks within the industry that they were contacted by Trace Magazine, which is, a gun grabbing magazine owned by gun grabbers. And Trace was writing an article about prominent YouTubers, and the Military Arms channel, my channel, Mr. Guns and Gear, and several others came up, and they were inquiring about us, and they're working with us. And all they were basing this on was the fact that we had appeared in videos with their products. I hadn't worked with the companies they were contacting, worked with. People say, oh, you're a paid shill. This company paid you for this review. That happens so rarely in the internet gun world. I mean, sure, it does happen, especially with super big creators. But what the people we were being contacted by, I literally had no point of contact there. And this was the same for other creators. But it was all in an effort to try to apply pressure to YouTube to demonetize us. Right. So they were writing this article and reaching out to all these, and they were saying to these companies, did you know that Mac was supporting J6? Show me the video where I said anything about J6. I never made one post about it. Never one video. But this is how they're trying to influence the gun industry, thinking that there was some financial connection between us and these various manufacturers. They thought they could step in the middle of it and say, did you know that these creators support insurrection? And by the way, YouTube, did you know that this was going on? And trying to shut down both the YouTube monetization and trying to sever any ties creators might have to any type of source of income. And this has all been done before. And we went out there and preemptively made videos saying, hey, Trace is getting ready to do this. And a bunch of us made videos like shorts and stuff like that. And Trace just trashed the whole article because they got beat up for it because we called them on it. But anyway, sorry.
Which is awesome. No, that was excellent. And what I was about to say was this article, I didn't pull the clip for this, but they actually do the exact same thing to Vickers in here because he uses AKs for some videos. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that he's supporting AKs, like a Kalashnikov.
Yeah.
Right. Because they do the exact same thing.
Because he went to Russia and he did. And look, there's some ties there. Right. I only know I have a 30,000 foot view of this whole story with regards to Larry and the stuff he faces, the legal challenges he faces. But, the accusations were that he was working with the Russians to get AKs that were banned because of, our country decided to put restrictions on Russian imports. Right. And firearms were among those. And they're saying, well, Larry went over there. He worked with the Russians. Nobody's ever had a factory tour, which I think actually may be true. And he got a factory tour. And then he came back and he got involved with an American company that's actually a proxy for the Russian company. And this is where all this is going. Right. So,
yeah, it's very convoluted.
Right.
Well, turns out, Tim, that we're on the radar. Check this out. YouTube is the most used social media app in the US and has a large gun culture featuring people sometimes known as gunfluencers. Social media stars and would-be stars who promote firearms and gun accessories, often in partnership with gun manufacturers. Hey, Tim, just quick question for you. What would happen to you if you had a paid promotion for firearms and gun accessories on one of your videos in partnership with gun manufacturers?
Well, you'd have to market. Right. It contains a paid promotion. I mean, what are you asking? I'm sorry.
What would be the consequences if you had links and you were basically offering and promoting firearms on your videos?
You would get banned from YouTube because what that means is if you go out there and say, hey, here's this cool new gun and there's a link in the video description below, follow that link and pick one up. That's a violation of their rules.
Don't host. And it's one one violation and you're done. That is not something where it's like, oh, have you done it 400 times? Let's do a full review.
Right.
No, that the algorithm picks you out on that one. People don't even do it. It is literally the algorithm goes, haha, nope, not today.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that they don't know how it works, but
no,
let me show you who's behind the curtain. Are you ready to see the monster behind the curtain?
Yep.
You would never see this. You would never see this. I'm going to read you 2 clips here. One, tell me this isn't political. This is 13. YouTube has faced criticism for years over its handling of gun videos. In 2022, 5 Democratic senators sent a letter to YouTube demanding to know why it wasn't fully enforcing its ban on instructional videos for making firearms after an NBC News investigation found out. And so we got some Democrat thumbprints on this, and boom, bing, the payoff, number 14. Everytown for Gun Safety, an advocacy group who opposes gun violence, called on YouTube to enforce its own policies against Vickers and other creators of gun content. Quote, YouTube is a cesspool of violent and irresponsible gun content. Justin Wagner, Senior Director of Investigations at Everytown, said in a statement to NBC News.
They got their own investigative
So what's more
unit.
concerning? Boom, you just found it right there. So they have their own investigations unit at Everytown. I wonder if I get my own rep, or if you have your own rep, or if it's just like we're kind of like shared in a pool of communism grossness.
Yeah, that's
what
awesome.
What do you think it is?
And the other thing I think is interesting, their choice of words are just, gosh, it's they must set up agonizing over how to structure sentences and stuff so they can get the most propaganda into a single sentence. So Everytown for Gun Safety, an advocacy group that opposes gun violence, because the 2A community supports gun violence. We love it.
Yeah,
that's all we want.
Yeah.
It's just like an advocacy group that opposes gun violence. No, they want gun bans. Has nothing to do with violence. It has everything to do with just banning inanimate objects. My goodness.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, it's just, it's so, you just want to take a shower after reading an NBC article or anything like that, because it's so slathered with propaganda and careful choices of words to try to elicit emotional responses and to misdirect people into whatever the agenda is that they're trying to promote. That's crazy, man.
That's exactly right. This entire thing, I think this article may have been better if we had just gone ahead and put road signs in there. Just like, turn left here, turn lefter here.
Yeah,
don't look straight, turn left again.
It's like, like in the old studio days when they had the applause light, for the live audiences. It's like, be outraged now. Be outraged now.
Cue the outrage.
Outrage. Yeah. It's like,
oh, it's so good.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good. But yeah, so it turns out that we have our own our own reps at Director of Investigations, and we have an entire hierarchy inside Everytown that does opposition research on gunfluencers.
I'm glad.
Crazy, dude.
I'm glad I can get this old Justin guy a good paying job, I'm sure, so he can investigate us and talk about all the irresponsible.
Senior.
And that's what's so funny. Like, if you take a look at a lot of, now, sure, there are millions of creators on YouTube. I have no idea. I only follow a smidgen of the 2A gun creator accounts that are out there. But what I will say, like, if you take a look at the content that I produce, which I know obviously the best, I don't cuss in videos. I try to make it family friendly, right? So I don't show unsafe handling. I don't show anything that would violate YouTube's rules, but also would come under this description that they've made here of a cesspool of violent, irresponsible gun content. It's like, no, that's not what I see out there at all. Now, are there people out there that might do that? Yeah, I've seen some pretty stupid videos of people brandishing firearms, like, videos of kids pulling out Glocks with switches and stuff like that. I've seen some of that, but those are like shorts, and those aren't your influencers. Those are just random people posting stuff. You know what I mean? Can you think of
I absolutely know
influencer, like somebody that actually has a following out there being irresponsible? They wouldn't have a channel.
Well, no, that's the big thing, and that's why it's so fascinating. They clearly don't know anything about the YouTube gunfluencer community that they're so eager to destroy, because, again, to your point, if someone were being irresponsible with firearms on videos, that audience would not exist, because the audience that we talk to, cater to, the one that is our core constituency, they don't respond well to unsafe use of firearms. They don't respond well to stupidity. They don't respond well to just overall irresponsibilities, particularly around firearms, because they know that goes against all the safety rules of firearms, and that also will be used against us. It's very easy to avoid it. The only people, to your point, that you're going to see on the internet doing stupid stuff would be the people who do shorts when they film themselves shooting a full auto Glock or something like that, which is obviously a violation, and you're just an idiot. But anyway,
yeah, it's not the gunfluencers they're talking about that actually have a following. There's all sorts of crazy content out there. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there posting videos of them beating the snot out of each other and just all sorts of stuff, and illegal drug usage. You want to see something really gross? I mean, there's actual pornography on YouTube.
Not really.
Actual pornography on YouTube. But it's disguised as informational. But anyway, this is what they're focusing on. GunTubers, gunfluencers.
GunTubers. It's a cesspool. It's evil. You got to get rid of these. Get the bleach.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to show you how every town sent their NBC dogs after a director of investigation.
Totally been done before. Yeah.
Absolutely. But we didn't know there was a director of investigations at every town. That's a new position.
It is. Now we know.
News.
Right? Yeah.
Now we know. But It's time, Tim.
I wonder if
it's time. A beautiful time. It's G3 time.
I know. It is G3 time.
It's goofy gun grabbers time. And Davey's not going to like it.
Yeah, we got to talk about old Davey again. So,
not gonna like it.
Recently we talked about Davey making really tasteless AI robocalls, right, to representatives, trying to get them to pass more restrictive gun control bans, whatever, assault weapons bans, Ethan's Law, whatever it is he's pushing for today. And so we talked about that. We talked about those robocalls and how tasteless it was that they were taking the voices of deceased people and replicating them and then using them to actually call these representatives. And so one of the accounts that I follow on X is Dr. Naperville Bunny. And she's a very prominent, very active 2A poster. And she did this post, Doc, if you could throw up number 15, which I just thought was beautiful.
Hi, I'm Yuan Ming. I was shot and killed while trying to shop at Costco during a robbery. My voice has been recreated using artificial intelligence. Women are victims far too often in crimes like this. The restrictive and prohibitive nature of firearm ownership is a sexist barrier to women all over the nation. The time for Congress to act as now constitutional carry is essential. Don't let my death go to waste.
So what Naperville and Bunny has done there is taken a story, woman shot, killed in robbery at a Costco, and then created an AI voice, obviously not of this person, just a random AI voice with a script and mocking Davey, saying, hey, I just want to make sure I did this right. You're such an inspiration when it comes to exploiting tragedy and victimhood. Have a listen. Suggestions. And so I just thought, wow, that really drives the point home about just how truly tasteless this act was. But there's more. But I want you to comment before we move on to what's really interesting about this story.
Okay. Right. What's so fascinating about this is, you know what? It's interesting, Tim. I've noticed a trend on this because I am still outraged at Davey Hogg and the parents of Parkland victims utilizing the voices of dead children and people in phone calls advocated for gun control against legislators. It just, to me, that's so far beyond the see, I've said beyond the pale too much. It's so far outside the norm of acceptable behavior in my mind that they get up there and they say, look at how much amazingness we're doing. That's kind of why I said the shock value thing. Yeah. And for some reason, it's almost like our audience just goes, yeah, they're crazy, and just kind of moves on. Right. But what I love about this is she did a very tit for tat move where she's like, hey, Davey, you did this. Did I do it right? Which brings attention to obviously the fact that he did it right. He did it wrong. He did it right, but wrong. And then the next part comes. The shoe drops, and life delivers a delicious maraschino cherry of justice. Okay.
And so, I started digging around on the internet because I was curious. I know certain types of robocalls are illegal and things like that because this has been an issue for a long, long time, right? People doing robocalls, annoying people, especially in the early days of cell phones where you charge 10 cents a minute and they were calling cell phones, right? All this crazy stuff, right?
Right.
And so legislation had been passed, but I wasn't aware of this. So I found something from the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission, and number 16, Doc, if you throw this up, And this is their stance posted February 8th of 2024.
Ooh.
Okay. So they say
that's like 3 days before they did it.
Right? So this says the FCC announced the unanimous adoption of the declaratory ruling that recognizes calls made with AI-generated voices are artificial under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991. Okay, so they're just reinforcing, hey guys, AI is coming online now. We just want to remind you that this is illegal, and when they say illegal, that means you get hit with stiff fines if you get caught doing this. And they're saying, hey, no AI robocalls. It's against the law based on the 1991 law. I guess Davey didn't get the memo.
AI-generated voices.
Right, AI-generated.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have AI-generated voices in 1991, but there was a robocall law passed in 1991, and FCC is saying that, hey, these AI-generated voice calls that you're coming up with right now that are starting to make the news, this is technically in violation of that 1991 law. And so...
You know what? Go
ahead.
Can I chase a rabbit real quick? Who... Okay, so you got to imagine they do robocalls for a reason, that it actually returns money on the investment, right? You would imagine they'd continue to do that because it works. Who in their right mind hears a robot that called them and was like, do we have a deal for you? Save 22% on this laundry detergent. You will never feel as clean as you do when you save 22% on the daily. I mean, like, who goes? I think I will.
I'm a Nigerian prince. I have $10 million in an account. I just need you to give me your checking account number, and I will transfer the money to you. Yeah, it's like...
And someone goes, I'm rich, I made it.
I know. Woohoo, here's my checking account. Yeah, well, there's people out there that do it, folks.
Oh, please continue. I'm sorry.
No,
it always boggles my mind.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand that myself. But yeah, so I just wanted to point this out. So now I did go back to Davey's timeline. I may have missed it. But it seemed to me that he pulled his post down on X that we made fun of in a previous video.
Oh, don't worry. I'll find it.
Yeah, we got to go back and look and see if he did, in fact, pull it down, because he may have gotten a warning saying, yeah. But, if it was a pro 2A group using AI robocalls, I guarantee you I'd be swimming in FCC fines right now.
Exactly.
Right?
Maybe they are, and they just haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe the system is out to destroy common sense gun control, Tim. Maybe that's what's going, but it's behind the scenes. Although, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Davey has the ability to keep something behind the scenes, because when that kid thinks about having a burrito for breakfast, he has to make a profanity F-bomb laden tweet about it.
Yep.
This is the best effing burrito I've ever had. Non-GMO, vegan.
Fellow gun people? Yes, I know. So anyway, all right, folks.
They broke the law, dude? I can't believe it.
It never happens on the leftist side of the house. Laws are for us.
They got ATF.
Law is...
They got ATF.
Laws are for us, not for them. All right. With that being said, folks, thanks for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.